you so much for joining us today on this training session. If anyone has any trouble like hearing me or seeing my camera, please let us know in the chat box. But a couple of things, a couple of housekeeping things right off the bat. You will not be able to share your camera or your audio with the audience. And so the best way to communicate with us is the chat box or the Q&A box. Please make sure to address all your questions to our host, one of my lovely colleagues, Denise, who I'll be introducing in a quick second. I'm just looking, I've got some questions going. I think I'll be okay. Denise, please holler at me if I need to pay attention to something.
I promise.
Okay, I saw in a chat someone not being able to hear me clearly. Is that for more than one of us?
I can hear you on my side, Sadaf. But I don't know if there's anyone else from okay. Looks like it's there are a few people who can hear you correct without any issue.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. All right, let's get going. Let's start the recording, Denise. How about that? Okay, you've done that. You're on it. You're on it. You know what you're doing. Okay. All right, let's start our webinar today, how to make the most of 10,000 copies as alumni. So all of you would have received this invitation are likely alumni or probably about to be an alumni. So, or an alum, I should say, which is the grammatically correct way. Welcome to our session and welcome to 10,000 Coffees. Your hosts for this session are myself, Sadaf Virji, and my lovely colleague, Denise Pereira. My title is Senior Manager, Academic Customer Success, and so I work on the customer success team, and I help manage all our academic clients. I'm trying to make sure that all of you are successful, and so I work with all of your schools, but I also work to do a lot of trainings like I'm doing today, and speaking to our end users and providing resources to make sure that you're able to maximize use of the platform. Denise, would you like to say hello and a few words?
Hi, everyone. So Denise Pereira. I am part of the customer success team with Sadaf. I'm in sunny Montreal today. Hopefully you guys are all ready for this lovely session that we have planned for you.
Thanks, Denise. Okay, and by the end of this session, you will learn these 5 things. 1, you'll have clear expectations of this program. You will be able to optimize who you are being introduced to on your 10,000 Coffees platform. You will know exactly what to do to reach out to your introduction. Hopefully you will opt to, well, you would have attended an awesome office hour because this is one, but hopefully you'll attend another one as well. And we'll also work to help to understand how to build your personal and professional brand to help your own career development. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of things, we're going to take a minute and do a couple of polls. We want to ask you a few questions to understand where you're coming from and what motivated you to join 10,000 Coffees and so on. And so Denise, my lovely colleague, is going to put up 3 polls, one after the other. And if you can take a moment, this should pop up on your screen, right on your computer or on your phone. The first question is a multiple choice. The second is a short answer. And the third is multiple answer. Also, I'm realizing that I need to come out of this. There you go. So we have 40 seconds in. Are you getting your answers, Denise? Are people responding?
Yeah, things are moving along. We have about 60% of people who are working away on the questions.
Love it. Okay, let's give everyone about 10 more seconds. This information is really helpful to us because we're understanding your journey and what motivates you, what you're liking so far, what goals you've had in your mind when you were joining the program. And this is really helpful for us to create future messaging and improvements within the program. Okay, so I think we can pause there. And Denise, if you're able to, oh yeah, I think the poll has ended. Do we get to see results? We don't. How's that work? Oh, we do. We're using polls for the first time, folks.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute while the poll was calculating. I apologize for that. So I'll share some of the results with you verbally. The first question was, which stage of your career are you in? We have about 40% of our attendees today who are seasoned professionals, 27% no answer, and 15% are top 3 mid-career, so 6 to 9 years. I'll jump to question 3 and we'll come back to question 2 after. Question 3, what goals did you have in mind when you joined the program? We have about 40, our top 3 answers: mentoring others, 40%, growing my network, 40%, no answer, 32%. So, some of the things are definitely coming out there. And then if we take a look at question 2, can I see those? Yes. What do you like about 10,000 Coffees? A lot of people have responded with networking, meeting new people with similar interests or meeting new people, friendly atmosphere is another one that seems to come up. So again, we have quite a few people here who are excited to network, meet some new people, and a chance to meet with other alumni seems to come up there as well. So
good.
Thanks.
So networking, a lot of mentoring, which is exactly what we're all about. So that does tell us that some of the messaging we put out there was accurate because you joined for the reasons and for goals that we can help you with. So let's get into the details. I know that all of you here have already joined, and so putting a section in on before you join may be a little confusing. But what I'd like to do is take a second to create some expectations and tell you a little bit more about what we specialize in. And one of the things that 10,000 Coffees really has its kind of teeth sunk into is yes, mentorship, but it's a particular kind of mentorship, and it's informal. And you'll know that informal mentorship might be different from what you have experienced or what you know to be formal mentorship. So what is informal mentorship? What is this about, and how is it different from formal mentorship? So informal mentorship is, it provides immediate learning. So it's in the moment kind of learning. It promotes self-driven learning. So it's not necessarily structured in a way that you're accountable to multiple people or a sense of authority. It offers immediate networking opportunities, which already, you understand with what the program is and why many of you are also here. It allows anyone to participate because there aren't any specific requirements or levels that you have to hit in order to join. It also, that means, allows for learning to happen in reverse. Now, traditional mentorship programs often will tell us that you have senior professionals who are mentoring younger professionals. And that's very common. So if you're older in your career or just older, you're giving advice to younger people, that is common and also a component of informal mentorship, but you will find that learning can happen in reverse, where you are learning as a senior seasoned professional from a young student or from a young recent grad. And some of this happens is because a lot of informal mentorship is often skills-based as opposed to completely about your career trajectory and advice. Obviously, that's a component of it, which is why we have you on the platform to speak to students, but you will find that you may be able to learn about new skills, perhaps digital based, perhaps AI related, things that are concepts that are fairly new. And if you as a senior professional are looking to expand skills, informal mentorship might be a really great way for you to learn as well. What this also does is takes the pressure off that formal capacity of like when you're matched up with someone and it's very, very formal, it's very structured. It gives you the opportunity of changing an informal relationship to a more formal mentoring relationship. And so if it's you meet someone and then you hit it off, then you can transform or move along into a more formal program where there are strict goals and where things aren't how would we say, more flexible. So that's really what happens in an informal mentorship, which is why you are all being matched up with different people on a monthly or a bi-monthly basis, depending on the program that you've joined. Formal mentorship, you'll often find is you meeting with the same person for a really long time, and perhaps you're working on something specific. So this is how it's different from formal mentoring. So as you are joining, many of you, we've asked this question in the poll to talk about your goals. And it sounds like people are interested in mentoring, networking, which is everything that we do. But one of the things we also hear from our alumni is to build their own leadership skills. And so when you get to a certain point in your career, like, you know what, I want to learn how to coach. I want to learn how to teach, to mentor, to be there for others, which allows you to give back. So many of you are so closely connected to your institutions, to your alma maters. And so this is a way of giving back to your institution. Opportunity to build your network, which we've heard a lot. Career pathing. What does this mean? Career pathing for yourself also, not only for the people that you are meeting with or mentoring, if that happens to be your connection. Career pathing can be a number of things. Learning specific skills, so you can be learning the skills as opposed to giving career advice all the time. You could also be in a transition with your career. And so I think there's an article that came out a little while ago I was reading on LinkedIn that said people are at least making an average of 2 career transitions now within their lifetime. And so meeting new people, connecting with others on a program like 10,000 Coffees, where you can specify your goals and interests in your career path will help match you up with the right kinds of people. And then the 5th thing that I wanted to really highlight and talk about in our goals is telling people, because it's part of building your online brand. I know that some of us are maybe more active online than others in terms of our LinkedIn profile, in terms of our professional presence, but particularly through the pandemic, and I think we will see this as a permanent change going forward, that we really need to focus on building our brand, and the digital aspect of that will be a huge component of that. And using LinkedIn or other kinds of social media or platforms will be a key factor in you providing and putting out the message of who you want to be. So you can talk about your leadership skills that you've learned through connecting with others from a program like 10,000 Coffee, but we'll get into the details of this as we move along. Now, one of the things that I haven't written down over here that I want to encourage you to do, if you haven't already set your goals before joining this program, I'd like for you to take a moment to write them down somewhere. Write down what you're really interested in doing and try to see it and from a dynamic perspective of what you can learn and what you can give back to others as well. We have some resources to help you succeed in being successful on the platform right off the bat. I have linked 4 articles here, and Denise will be posting them in our chat box for everyone to access. The first is a guidebook that we created. So if you even wanted to hand this off to a friend or someone who didn't know anything about us, they'd be able to follow the steps, join the platform, and learn how to use it. I've additionally posted articles from our blog, 10,000coffees.com/blog, has a bunch of career-related content. We would encourage you to go visit that on a regular basis, but I've included a couple of links here that might be really important and useful for you. One, like 5 secrets to keeping discussions fresh with your mentee. Probably a good one if you're new to mentoring and haven't done this too much before. Or if you are being matched up with people that you're not sure how to connect with, perhaps you're matched up with an international student on the platform. And there's an article on mentoring relationships, 7 tips for mentoring newcomers. That one might be helpful for you as well. Okay, our next section is you've joined the program. How do you really use it? But I will take a second to ask Denise if there are any questions that I need to address, or are you good to go and we should continue?
I think for the time being, you're okay to continue, and I have a few questions that I'll save for the end if they're still there.
Got it. Thank you, Denise. Okay, so everyone, you've probably joined the program in the last couple of months. If you've been here longer and you're here to just learn how to use the program, amazing. But you probably know a little bit of what I'm going to talk about anyhow. So the first thing is navigating the platform. What you're seeing in front of you right now is an image of what your hub probably looks like when you log in. You're going to see this menu on the left-hand side, which is your holy grails, where you're going to basically live and navigate the important things within the program. What you'll notice is that you have 3, I have a 4th here because it's a sneak peek. We have a welcome page, which is coming up, and we've added to all of your hubs. And the resources that Denise just posted will be hosted on that welcome page. So you don't have to keep looking for these or save these. You'll always be able to find them in your hub if you click on that welcome page. This is scheduled to launch in the next 30 days. And so in about 30 days or within the month, when you log in, you'll be able to see this listed with all the resources we've talked about and more. One thing I want to point out to you is this is we're going to call this your menu bar. And on your right-hand side at the top, you'll see a little circle, which has the first letter of your name, which is your profile, which is the link to your profile. So you'll click on that, you'll be able to access your profile as well as a bunch of other things. And what you'll also find on this page is some very, very useful information around who you are going to be introduced to. So if you see this section that says about your introductions, it tells you who you have selected to introduce yourself to. And you also see this button right here that says edit selection. You can edit it right now. Many of you would have seen this in the hub when you were, or while you were signing up in a slightly different way. And we can kind of go through that. I think we have a couple of images of what that looks like. Oh yeah, there we go. So you may have noticed this image that on the left-hand side as you were signing up, you may notice this little pop-up once you've completed your profile. So these are all things to help you optimize your setup. And that's the next thing that we're going to talk about here. So you've learned how to navigate the program or the platform, you know where some things are, but what are the key and important things that you have signed yourself up for basically? And how can you improve or optimize based on what you want to do in your personal goals? So the first thing I'll definitely say is please add a profile picture if you don't already have one. We know that profiles with pictures have 8 times more views than those that don't. Also, take this opportunity to fill in the details. So when that profile, when you first joined up, you would have seen that profile pop-up come. And if you've already joined up, which all of you have, click on the right hand, that profile little circle that you have, click on that, click on profile, and fill in details like the icebreakers. There's an icebreaker session, there's a bio section. All of these things are helping to add color to your profile and allow the person that you've been matched with to understand more about you. The other thing that you can add detail to help optimize your setup is your goals and your interests. Now, where do you navigate that? I'm going to show you right now, live in a demo. Here we go. So I created a little profile in a very badly spelled name of myself, and this is where you can add information. So if I go to edit profile, you'll see here that I can put my pronouns It's really good to fill this information in to help people understand how to address you, what your headline will be. I'm a professional networker. Maybe that's cool. It's up to you. Put the information that you think is most helpful and tells you about the others about you. Use this section down here to fill in your bio as well. So I made a couple of changes. You know, I can add a photo very quickly, which is extremely helpful. And there we go. If you want to edit information about your interests and goals, which are very key, and they're key because our algorithm uses that information to match you up with people based on your information. So think of it as a dating website, but not for dating. I did not tell you to use this for dating, okay? I just want clarity around this. Disclaimer, legal team, wherever you are, I'm covering my bases. Please use this for professional needs only. And when you click on more information there, you can see what your goals and your interests are, the ones that you selected when you signed out. And please keep updating this, change this where you think when they change. You'll see that I didn't fill out my entire profile, but look at this. Now it's a great time for me to fill it out. I speak French. I don't, but I can update all of my interests here and say, no, actually, I'm interested in recruiting. So at some point, if you're looking for a job, you can change your interests and your matches will change accordingly because our algorithm takes all of this information to match you up with the right person. You'll notice also that my interactions here are that I am allowing other people to have a conversation with me and I am allowing other people to see my profile, but I have actually turned my automated introductions off. Now, I did that just as an example to show you. It is best to keep that on so that you do get matched up, unless you know that you're going out of town for a while, or you're going to be on a sabbatical, or you're stressed out and you just don't have the time to be online right now. It's best to turn that off in those situations so that you don't get matched with someone and they're just waiting for you to respond or something like that. I'm going to keep it on and I'm going to click done and then this is saved. And so my preferences are now optimized based on what I am doing at that point, what I'm interested in. I'm interested in recruiting, trying to get a job, etc., etc. So that way we decided how we want people to interact with us. And then the last item here was decide who you want to interact with. So let's go back to our lovely demo. And if you come to our homepage here, do you remember that section over here to say who you will get introduced to? Let's click edit. And it tells us what we can choose on who to be introduced to. Some of these options in my demo, however, are locked, but some of them are not. Most of yours will be unlocked, and so you'll be able to choose. And let's say you are a senior career individual and you want to meet with only new grads and early alumni. So you can unclick a couple of the categories if you're not interested in meeting with them. The only thing I would say is that try not to make your selection too specific so that you're only meeting with one or two kinds of people, because it will be very difficult to get you a match in that case, because you never know. So try and be and keep it broad so that you're able to also do a bit of networking with that function and you'll be matched up with people from different areas. All right. Let's come back to our presentation. The next section on once you've joined the platform, thing that you can do almost immediately is use the members directory. And that is this tab on the left-hand corner on your menu over here. And if you click on this, you'll basically see, and if all of you want to follow along with me right now, you can log into your platform and you'll be able to see a lot of what I'm showing you right away. If you click on the members tab, you'll see a list of the members who allowed themselves to be public. And you can search, just browse through if you want, just look through the list and see who's on it. You can type in a keyword like you've seen over here. I've typed in the search box, business. So everyone who has the word business in their profile has been pulled up on this list. And look, there are 6 members in my demo hub that have the word business in their profile. The other thing that you can do is use the filter section. So when you click filter members and say, okay, I actually only want to see, I want to see who all the undergrad students are, and maybe I can help them, okay? So we're going to click apply, and look, there are 10 undergrad students in the hub. And you can look through their profiles, be like, oh, hey, this person doesn't have much information. Let's go see if someone else does. Oh, what? Look, Dave. Dave is a first-year student. He has a profile. You can see more information if it was there. He didn't obviously fill it out. It's a demo hub. So Dave didn't fill it out, but this gives you a sense on, you know, who is on the hub and what information, you know, you can learn about them. So this is Erin Mays. These are her goals. These are her interests. Oh, you know what? I'm really interested in health and wellness as well. Let me click say hello and start a conversation with her right here, right now. What does this mean? This means you do not have to wait for an automatic introduction to happen. You can actually take your networking, your mentorship, and your experience on 10,000 Coffees into your own hands and reach out to anyone that you want to talk to individually. I'm going to take a 1-minute pause there, Denise, and tell me where we're at. Do we need to pause for questions?
No, I think you're doing great. You've been able to cover a few of the questions that are there, and we'll continue on.
Sounds good. Lovely. Thank you so much. Now, what is the second part of 10,000 Coffees that we keep talking about? Introductions. You will hear, you'll be matched with someone new every month. This is your introduction. This is your match. This is your person. What does this mean? What are introductions and how do I make them work for me? So introductions, as I mentioned, is basically our platform acting like a dating site, but for professional purposes. You sign on, you create a profile, you put your interests and goals in, and our algorithm smart matches you. We use the word smart match a lot. This is what it means. Which system takes it and makes the best possible match for you, either to a peer or a leader or someone like a student, based on your mutual interests and goals. And so I'll say this again later on, and I'm going to say this now. So it does mean that you may not always be matched with a student unless your preferences have indicated so. But keep that in mind. If you are matched with a peer or someone in the industry, it may be an awesome networking opportunity for you. What happens when you get your match? We ask you to reply to the email that you get to set up a time. And then once you've met with your match, you will receive an email from us asking you for feedback about the interaction. Now, what does that email look like? Okay, so the first thing, let's start right from the top. You will receive an email that looks like this in your inbox when you get your first match. If you're brand new to the platform, you may not already have a match. Expect this email at your next match based on the community that you're in. If you have joined us and you've been here for a while, you may see this as familiar. And the first thing I'm going to say as you're looking at this introduction email is don't judge too quickly. We get a lot of feedback from people saying, well, I don't know why I'm matched with this person. I didn't graduate from the same program. I'm not in the same category. Yes, we understand that. But because the system is matching you up based on your career goals and interests, some of those things may not align, but you may have a lot of alignment based on your actual goals and future interests, your actual interests and future goals. What does this email actually tell you? It tells you right away what you're both interested in, why you were matched. So it's the algorithm is basically explaining itself here. It's like, oh, I matched you, but here's why. Okay. It also tells you what the other person is looking for and what you can give them in return. Okay. Now, from this email, you have two choices to communicate with this individual. You can click say hello, and that'll take you straight into the platform's chat function where you can be communicating with your match in the platform. The other thing you can do is literally click reply to this email, and your match will receive an email as well as a message on the platform. Okay, so we covered both our bases. So if you're choosing to use the platform to communicate, that will still be replicated in an email and vice versa. So the first thing you do, take a look at who you've been matched with, and don't judge too quickly in the sense that if they are not exactly what you think they were supposed to be. I'm going to talk about how you can help people who may not necessarily be in your field or who have graduated from the same program that you did. So when you get matched, you may need to look into someone's you can click through and see their profile and find out more information. We just took a look at the information like in the platform right away, like the profile. And this is basically somebody that I was connected to on our team a little while ago. As you can see, my friend Schwan has a little bit of information, not a whole ton. And I'm like, well, he's an engineer. Like, what do I have to talk about with Schwan? The truth is, Schwan and I have a ton to talk about. We both love eating out. We both love trying new restaurants. We both have actually a lot in common in terms of how we grew up. And so while I was talking to him, I'm like, oh my God, Schwan, you and I are going to be besties. And I didn't necessarily realize this from our profile. It only took me couple of meetings and conversations to learn about them. Now, how to help those not in your industry or your academic area. Bear in mind that a lot of young people, particularly in school, are still learning our human skills or soft skills as they're known. And if you've been in the industry for a while, it sounds like over 40% of you are, based on the poll that we started off with, you are going to have built those skills out already. And so I think it's a great opportunity for you to give back in terms of learning human skills. If you can't specifically talk to someone about their academic interest or industry, because you may be coming from different industries. However, there's always human skills, which young people are desperately in need of. And I don't mean to bash young people at all, but we see this with interaction on the platform all the time, is that they don't know how to network. That's a human skill. And they really struggle with that. So there's a lot of opportunity for you as the experienced alum to be able to reach out first, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and also help them with conversation skills, which is something that is highly underrated, which most of us struggle with because there's so much focus on hard skills, right? The other thing is career and academic planning. So let's say you are maybe a young alumni. Maybe you've only been you've only graduated a couple of years, or maybe 5 to 10 years even so. And you're like, well, what can I help this person with? Think about the choices that you had to make or the mistakes that happened with your career early on, where you can take a lesson and help the other individual, as opposed to saying, well, you know, if you want to be an engineer, you can do X, Y, and Z. But you can be like, oh, well, sometimes we make mistakes and sometimes we change our career midway. There's a lot of coaching that can come from comparable situations rather than specific hard information about specific industries like engineering or design or marketing, etc. And the last thing that I would encourage all of you to do is please reach out. We do hear from a lot of our alumni that there's an expectation for the mentees or the students to reach out. And like I mentioned, because our students are quite green, particularly in networking, sometimes not sure what to do with it. Also I'm so used to saying the word millennial, but they're beyond millennial, they're what are they, Gen Z? Denise, I don't even know anymore the categories, but they're very young. I'm not, you know, and they don't necessarily know. I've heard feedback from students that they're afraid to reach out because they're matched up with like a director level person, and they're like, oh, I don't know if they'll be too busy, or you know, will I get them at the right time? Is it appropriate for me to say X, Y, and Z? And so sometimes you taking the step and reaching out helps build our confidence. Now, how can you reach out? I have included an image here on components of a good outreach message. However, I know that all of you are busy and you don't necessarily want to sit there and craft an outreach message. You want something easy and simple. So remember that message button here, or that say hello button from the email that we saw earlier? That will take you to this little chat box. And at the bottom, I hope you can see this, it says say hello using our templates. We have created templates for you on reaching out. You can click this and you can edit, you can copy, you can paste, you can rearrange. And honestly, in less than 30 seconds, maybe even 20 seconds if you're fast, you can send a message out to someone new and have made a connection. So it doesn't take a lot of time. Now, I know that we're kind of like tight on time, so I'm gonna leave, I won't go through this in detail, but we will share this deck with you in an email in the next couple of days. And so there are a couple of great quotes here from alumni and students. And I put the student one in because I thought it was so cute. She's talking about how awkward it was meeting online through COVID, but she was so excited and happy that she did because she had a wonderful chat. Anyway, I won't say more. I will move on to, I think, my favorite section of the presentation, which is troubleshooting. Because what happens when something goes wrong or you get stuck in your process of trying to figure out how to use the platform? Well, your handy-dandy customer success person right here is ready to tell you what to do. And the first thing is, we have a help center for you in the platform. Many of you will not know this, but I'm going to show you how to navigate. If you click on the top right-hand corner image of yourself, if you haven't put a photo, it'll just say the first letter of your name. If you click on that, the second drop-down menu option is Help Center. When you click that, this image, this little chat box shows up. You can type your issue or your question right here. Someone from our team is monitoring this literally every second of every business hour. So yes, if it is after hours, and we work on an Eastern time, so if it is after hours, you may not get an answer until the next business day, or the next time someone is, the business day has begun. But please know that you will get a response. So if you're having technical issues like you didn't get an email for a message, you didn't get a match that month, or you're confused about when your next match is, or you're like, how do I edit my selection of who I wanted to meet, or who are my interests? Anything like that, you can come over here in the Help Center and type the question in. Someone will get you an answer within the next business day. The second thing that I hear a lot is sometimes if you've been on the platform for a little while, you may have reached out already to someone and they may not have responded. We call this in the cool kids are calling this ghosted, being ghosted. Now, it is not cool, and we know that. But like my therapist says, we cannot control what other people do. We can only control our own actions. And so what can you do if someone didn't respond to you? Yes, it's disappointing. And yes, it's not cool. We understand that. And we're working with our students and with everyone to make sure that they're better about responding. However, you can go to the membership directory, which is something we just talked about, and take control of your experience of who you want to network with, or who you're meeting with, and who you can mentor. You can just reach out. You can also attend an office hour so that you're growing your own career development at the same time. I'll talk a little bit more about about office hours. You have joined an office hour, you RSVP'd one and joined one today, so you already know how to use it. But I'll talk a little bit more about what we traditionally use it for and how we will be going forward. The third thing I would really ask you to do is please add 10,000 Coffees, the email address that you received from the email that you got yesterday as a reminder to the session or your next introduction, and please add it to your safe list in your inbox. If you haven't received an email from 10,000 Coffees yet and you're confused, check your junk box or your spam folder. It could have gone in there. And to avoid any of that in the future, please add the 10,000 Coffees email address to your safe list. The fourth thing to do with tech-related troubleshooting is that as your journey on 10,000 Coffees progresses and your time here grows, your goals and interests may change. And so what you're interested or what you want out of the program may change. Like we talked about, you may be going from, I want to mentor strictly to, oh, actually, I'm looking for some transition options. Maybe I can meet someone who's in data mining and I'm on this other side of the business. So it's a way of being able to connect. You can go to the member directory, remember, and type in the keyword of whatever it may be that you're interested in. And the system will pull up a list of people who have that in their profile. So please also, so you can do that, but also update your goals and interests so that the matches, so the algorithm uses your new match information to make the best possible match for you on a monthly basis. We want the system and the platform to be working for you on all fronts. So we've had some good feedback about our introductions. We know that over 71% of youth feel better prepared to network after connecting with their match, and that's you. That 40% of people who are on this meeting session right now, who are senior career members and have connected with a student, that's because of you. Youth feel better prepared. What beautiful English. Youth feel better prepared to network after connecting with people like you. 44% have gained meaningful career advice. That's awesome. This is all like not through official channels, right? It's like through informal mentoring. How amazing is that? And this last stat is about learning new career opportunities. This is mainly here because we also work with enterprise companies. My colleague Denise, who's on the call, works with a ton of them. If you work for a company that you think will benefit from 10,000 Coffees and might be interested in learning more, please get in touch with myself or Denise. Denise, you can pop your email in the chat if you like, and we're happy to talk to your HR team or to yourself about that a little bit more. The last thing I'm going to cover before we go into Q&A is office hours. Like I said, all of you saw an invitation to an office hour, and so you RSVP'd, and now you're here. But what else, and what other kinds of office hours do we do? So at 10,000 Coffees, we do office hours as leader-led or expert-led conversations or presentations like this one on career development and other topics of interest. So that's how we do it all here. If you've joined through your school, if you are the company that has 10,000 Coffees, you'll see that they use office hours to have leadership, group mentorship conversations. Whereas on our side, we typically use it to help with training, with skill building, with career development, etc. So this is an example of a session that we did a little while ago, Master Networking Skills to Launch Your Career. And it was basically a workshop on how to network. We'll have one of these at least once a month, or about perhaps at the 6-week mark, if not, you know, maybe we miss Christmas and those kinds of months. But you'll find this periodically. You'll get an invitation in your inbox to attend this, or you can navigate from the platform into the office hour menu, which you saw on the left-hand side, to see which office hours are coming up within your institution. We've got also some really lovely things, lovely feedback from office hour attendees. Over most of our folks find that office hours are rated very highly at 95% satisfaction rate, and over about 92% would attend the same event with in the future with that host. So once you have RSVP to an event, you've registered, you've attended, you've engaged, you've, like this one, like you're asking questions and you're engaging with us, which is amazing. We love that. Keep it coming. You'll get an email in your inbox today that says, please share feedback. So we really would love to get your feedback on how the office hours are going. So after this one, if you can respond to tell us how you felt about this, it helps us improve our program. It helps schools improve the offering that we provide. Is it more skill-based stuff? Is our trainings like this useful? All of that information is really important. Please give it all to us. So what can you do next? So if you haven't already set your personal goals, please do that. Write it down somewhere or make a mental note of it. If you don't write things down, oftentimes they go away. So I would say please write them down if you can. Make it a point to meet with your next introduction. If you haven't already been introduced, you will be within the next 1 month if your introductions are on. Or if you have an introduction waiting for you and you haven't reached out, we've talked about reaching out. It's super simple. Use that template, reach out to them, attend, or you can host an office hour as well. So you can make a request to the your school and say, hey, I think I'm an expert in this particular area. I'd like to host an office hour. Get in touch and they can schedule it for you. And lastly, as you are going through your program and you're meeting with people and you're connecting with and you're mentoring, and maybe you're networking only and not mentoring, however it may be, use those meetings and stories to build your online brand by posting about it. So you can post about this session right here. You can take a photo of Denise and I, or of what you see up here, or of any of the images that we put up. You can also post it once we send you the deck, because you can like take pieces of it and post it on LinkedIn. But you are starting to build your personal and professional brand by using this content, letting other people know that you are involved in mentorship, you are learning, you are viewed as a leader when you are putting this kind of content out on your social profiles. I have a dear friend and someone I look up to a lot who is a personal branding guru. And he says, do something, tell people. Doing something on its own is great, but if you don't tell people, people don't know about it. You're not adding to your brand. But you want to add to your professional brand, because particularly in this time of COVID, we're still a lot of us virtual. Maybe you're going back to the office slowly, but remember that your personal brand will always have a huge digital component through LinkedIn and other sites as such. So please make sure to be posting content. When you post content about being a mentor, having mentoring conversations, networking with people, it puts you as a leader in that space. And so, like I said, please feel free to post about this session today, and tag 10,000 Coffees and RBC Future Launch, who is our major sponsor. And I'd like to take a second right now to also thank RBC Future Launch for being an amazing partner and allowing all of our schools to be part of our program through their funding initiatives. Thank you, RBC. All right. So I am done, and what I'm going to do actually is exit out, because I want to see.
So we have a couple of questions, and I'll give you those. I'll send those over to you. So the first one is about logging into the platform. So a couple of questions on that. What is the link? How do I get the link to log into the platform? So if you want to cover that, Sadaf.
Oh my God. Amazing. So where you're going to go, folks, is to 10,000coffees.com/schools. So if you're ever confused, I'm going to type this in. If I can type. And please go to this site and you will find all of the schools that we are connected with and have a 10,000 Coffees program. You'll be able to find it based on the logo and the name. And that will take you to your hub. What you'll notice when you get there, let's just do it together. Hopefully you can see me and my screen also. And let's say I get here and I'm like, oh, I go to Bishops. And I click on Bishops and you're like, oh, this is about signing up. This is not about signing in. Look at the section here that says already have an account. Click login. Super simple. And this takes me to my Bishops profile. because I already have a profile, I'm already logged in. The system should not log you out unless you're on a public computer. So typically, you'll be able to revisit this quite frequently without having to sign in again. You'll just have to go to 10,000coffees.com/schools, get into the link if you forget what it is. I'll take you straight into your profile.
All right, our next question is, can you change your email address to a different email address on the platform?
Yes, you can, absolutely. And how to do this? You go to your profile and you click edit profile. And it's not here. All right, let's try again. Oh, it's because this one doesn't allow me to change emails. Denise, do you have admin access to this? Can you change that? So you know, not to be exclusive, and having just conversation with Denise in this session, but all of your schools have, so we have a setting here where you're allowed to allow people to change their profiles or their email addresses or not. All of our schools allow you to change your email address, and you should be able to do this on your own. You should be able to go into profile and click over here. And if my demo hub has it off, but you should be able to change, it should show up right over here, and you should be able to change it right away, and you'll be able to click save changes. If any of you want to try that right now in front of me and report back, we'd be happy to look into it, but that's how you would do it.
Thanks, Sadaf. We have a question from Janet. Is there a place to see compliments that someone has left?
Yes, so we didn't talk about compliments very much because there's so much content to cover, but compliments come from once you've had a conversation with somebody and they filled out the feedback form, you're able to leave a compliment for someone. And I would encourage you strongly to do that so that they can understand that you know, they feel good about the fact that they met with you. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is our office, our own 10,000 Coffees team conversation. And I'm going to go to oh wow, look, I created a little private note for after my chat with Elliot, which is something that I should have probably talked to you about, is that I can write a private note after every time I chat with someone, by the way. I spelled wife incorrectly, but I realized that I have to read a book that Elliot told me to read, and I wrote it down, and then I realized that Elliot's wife was pregnant and I needed to email him to congrats. What an awesome thing to do, by the way. This is a side point. Okay, let's come back to this to see your compliments. Your compliments should live right here on your introductions page when you get into your hub. And so if someone has left you a compliment, why has no one left me a compliment? Gosh, how rude. I want to show you the compliment that somebody left me, but I'm obviously not finding it because nobody left me a compliment. Denise, do you have a compliment that you can show? It should live right.
No, I'm looking at exactly that, and I'm coming up the same as you.
No one sent you a compliment, eh?
But I can tell
that
it also, I believe, as you said, you'll receive an email with that.
You'll receive an email with your compliment, and you should be able to see it also on your introduction page. But 100% you will receive an email if someone leaves you a compliment. But so the story of the moral of the story is leave people compliments. So after you chat with them, send them a nice note. You don't have to send it by email. The system will ask you these questions, and the system will send it for you. Any other questions, please?
We have another question from Mary. What if you went to different schools? Do I create multiple profiles?
That's a very good question. And the answer to that is yes. Yes, you would create multiple profiles. So let's say you did your bachelor's degree from Trent University. That's where I meant. You'd have one account over there so that you can connect with other Trent alumni, other Trent students, et cetera, or industry professionals that are connected to the Trent community. And then let's say that you went across the country and you went to the University of British Columbia for your master's or another program. Yes, you'd be able to create a secondary account in that hub so you can connect with the community within UBC's platform.
We had a question from Nastaran asking if you can just go over again how you send a message from the email that you received or from the platform to reach out to your introduction.
Yes, absolutely. So, sometimes my computer there we go. Okay. So here we have, once you've logged into your platform, your introduction will pop up right at the top. And so I've been introduced to Dave Wilkin here, and the best way and easiest way to communicate with him is to click say hello. And right here, I am in the chat box, and I can say, hello, Dave. Or I can use our template, click that button. And now, and this is the thing, I'm going to edit it. I'm going to say, I'm going to be like, this is too much detail. I'm just going to ask directly for his time. So I'm going to delete this section, and then you're going to be like, okay, these are the times that I'm available. Look forward to chatting. Send. And I need to tell Dave that this is a training, don't respond. Because otherwise Dave will be like, what's it up? I just met with you. So that's one way of communicating. And the other way, as we talked about, is you will receive an email in your inbox that looks like this. And it'll say that it is from the community that you belong to. So if you belong to the UBC community or the Humber College community, they'll say that, you know, you've been matched and this is your next match. And from here, you can just click say hello. This little button right over here. And that takes you to this page once again. So we have one more minute. If there's one quick question, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I think we'll have to sign off. And feel free to ask your questions in the Help Center. Right-hand side profile, click Help Center. Well, it's time now. Sorry, I think I'm out of time.
I think we're good. Thanks, Sadaf.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This session is being recorded, and so we will send you a recording. Please pass it on to your friends, family, no, anyone who's in your community. Encourage them to join 10,000 Coffees. Appreciate you being here today. Thank you, Denise, and have a lovely rest of your week.